Tonight on BBC London News, the Mayor's deputy denies sexual and financial misconduct after we revealed he'd been banned from practising as an Anglican priest.
Now, what I believe to be the case, he would not have my permission to minister in this diocese.
As Boris Johnson announces an inquiry, Ray Lewis has described the claims as complete rubbish.
I would say to you that the allegations are without grounds. I would say to you the allegations are malicious and they're an attempt to smear me.
Well, it's the first major test of the London Mayor's leadership. We have an exclusive report, also on the programme. Making it plain, protesters target the Transport Secretary over plans for Heathrow expansion. And we'll be speaking to size 16 Miss Surrey ahead of the upcoming Miss England finals. Good evening. Boris Johnson is facing his first major crisis as mayor tonight. He's been forced to announce an inquiry into allegations against his deputy Ray Lewis, who's in charge of tackling youth crime. The announcement came after BBC London discovered Mr Lewis had been banned from practising as a Church of England priest during the 1990s, following alleged financial irregularities. Well, we'll be asking Mr Lewis about all of this in a moment. But first, our political editor, Tim Donovan, has this exclusive report.
He was the man by Boris Johnson's side on his first official day as mayor. Ray Lewis was appointed deputy mayor in charge of youth, his mission above all else to tackle gun and knife crime. But we've learned that a decade ago, when he worked as a vicar in East London, he was the subject of serious complaints of financial misconduct. Ray Lewis was the vicar at this church in West Ham in East London in the mid-1990s. By all accounts, a charismatic figure, liked and trusted by many parishioners. Indeed, such was the confidence placed in him by one parishioner that she entrusted him with money. Mary Massey gave him more than £25,000 she says would be used to fund a loan scheme for hard-up members of the congregation. She was promised good returns, and for a while she did receive regular interest payments. But when she got worried and asked for all the money back, he couldn't give it to her. Her anxieties intensified when Ray Lewis left the church to go abroad, taking a post as priest at a church in the Windward Islands. She sought the help of the then Archdeacon.
Mary had given him, for some reasons which he'd obviously made clear to her, in good faith, he lent him a sum of money. It's not something I would certainly encourage any cleric to do. And it certainly, to me, felt very, very odd. She was obviously very upset and felt, in my interpretation of it, felt some of the trust that she put in Ray had been misplaced.
We've seen an email that Michael Fox wrote at the time to Ray Lewis in the Caribbean, in which he said,
"I am extremely alarmed that any Christian community should find itself embroiled in such an unsatisfactory financial mess, and certainly for the ordained leadership of the community to be involved in such a way, I find deeply distressing."
As the delay in time, in terms of the repayment, took place, I became more and more alarmed and, as I say, advised Mary to go to the police about it, and indeed tried to contact the diocese where he'd gone in the Caribbean to see if they could put some pressure on.
In a letter, the C of E solicitors wrote,
"Whilst we as a diocese cannot be seen to accept financial responsibility for a wayward priest, in this case, as there appear to be criminal implications, we cannot hang back."
In this letter, written by Mary Massey herself to the police, she said,
"I think it's scandalous that he's coming back and forth and we're helpless to accost him. My fear all along was that at some point he would just disappear, and that's precisely what has happened. Since Mr Lewis has now effectively disappeared, is not resident in this country, and no longer comes under the authority of the Anglican Church, it's extremely difficult for me to pursue this matter."
Clearly she was beginning to think, if this guy's left the country, am I going to get this cash back?
Police also received 2 further complaints made against Ray Lewis of financial irregularities, but the 2 individuals apparently withdrew their complaints. In the end, with the help of another London minister, Ray Lewis did pay all the money back to Mary Massey, and the police dropped their inquiries.
If you're put in a position of trust and advising, helping, guiding, being pastorally responsible for a congregation, you shouldn't be, what seems to me, exploiting them.
Okay, again. David.
Ray Lewis has been praised for his work with black teenagers across the political spectrum, but especially by the Conservative Party. David Cameron made his East Side Academy his first port of call after being elected Tory leader.
Welcome to the One Love Centre and the home of East Side Young Leaders Academy.
Lewis has been lauded for his tough love approach, insisting on a regime of strict discipline during the after-school courses he runs for wayward black teenagers. But we discovered that a decade ago, as a result of the claims against him, Ray Lewis was put on the Church of England's Lambeth and Bishopsthorpe Register, otherwise known as the Lambeth List. It effectively barred him from public ministry or taking any job in the Church of England.
If somebody had asked me, I would have said, I think Ray ought to be on the Lambeth List until this is sorted out.
Today, Labour on the London Assembly called for swift action.
He's been put in a very senior position by Boris. He's been vested with enormous authority, extraordinary credibility, and yet these massive cracks are appearing. Members of the public have got to ask whether he should be removed immediately. He should certainly be suspended, in my view.
This afternoon, with our story about to emerge, Boris Johnson staged a dramatic press conference.
Afternoon, folks. There are now allegations being made by the media about Ray's past. They should be fully investigated. And that's why tomorrow I will be announcing an independent inquiry.
Ray Lewis denied all allegations, but questioned whether he was on the Lambeth List. He said this.
I don't know. Is it true?
Well, that's our information from the church. So you're saying that they've got their
I'm not
facts
aware
wrong.
of being put on any list.
So you were free to work for the church between 1999 and 2005?
Well, I don't know because I never asked.
The questions are unlikely to go away fast.
Well, shortly after that inquiry was announced, our reporter Col Mercer spoke to the Bishop of Chelmsford, whose diocese covers the area where Ray Lewis was a priest.
A number of issues were raised about his conduct as a priest, which led the Bishop of Barking at the time to have such serious concerns that they asked the Archbishop of Canterbury to inhibit his ministry. The Archbishop agreed with the bishop and did inhibit his ministry. At the time, he was ministering in the West Indies, and his bishop there was informed that that action had been taken. So Ray was not able to exercise his priestly ministry in the Church of England.
Would it be fair to say that the Church, given the stance it's taken, doesn't see Ray Lewis as a fit person to be ministering in this country?
At present, he is not able to minister in this diocese, and as of now, and what I believe to be the case, he would not have my permission to minister in this diocese.
Does that mean that he is not a fit person, do you believe, to be the Deputy Mayor of London on youth issues?
That's an issue for the Mayor to sort out. That's in a different context. The Mayor must sort that out, and I assume that's why he set up an inquiry and why we must be careful not to comment in a prejudicial way on that.
But as far as the Church is concerned, Ray Lewis is not welcome as a minister in the Church in London.
He is not able to exercise his priestly ministry in this diocese.
Because of concerns over his conduct in the past?
Because of past concerns, yes.
Well, Tim Donovan joins me now from City Hall. Strong feelings, as we heard from the church there, but Ray Lewis is denying all these allegations, isn't he, tonight?